Hey everybody, it's Brooke with the Buttered Home and welcome to my messy kitchen. Today we're going to share with you a delicious and beautiful recipe for stuffed acorn squash. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss this. Okay, ahead of time, I have cooked 2 or 3 pieces of bacon till it was nice and crispy, and then just trimmed it up before I cooked it so it would be in small pieces. In the same pan with the bacon grease that I have, I am placing in probably about a half a cup of diced green onion, probably about 2 stalks, so it's probably over half a cup. And I'm just going to brown those green onions in that bacon grease until they're nice and sort of crispy. Now to that, we're going to add in some thyme, dried thyme. You can use sage if you like, but I like thyme. It's more earthy, so I'm just putting in the thyme and a little bit of sage because this is a holiday type recipe, and I'm doing about a teaspoon of each of those right in with the onions so it'll get in there with that bacon grease and flavor it. Now we add in 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. If you use dried garlic, use about a teaspoon. And just let that just come to a brown just for a minute or so, and then remove it from the heat. Now to a small bowl, we're going to make our stuffing mixture. We're going to put in that garlic and onion with those seasonings right in. We've allowed it to cool for just a few minutes. And now we add in our panko breadcrumbs. You can use traditional breadcrumbs if you would like, but we like panko because it's good and crispy and it stays crisp during the cooking process. So we use about 1.5 cups of that and give it a good mix. Now we add that bacon, that 2 to 3 pieces that we chopped and cooked, and add that right in. That'll help give more texture and complement the bacon flavor that now is in those onions. Now we add in about 3/4 of a cup of cheese, and I'm using a couple of different kinds. I'm using cheddar and mozzarella, and add that in. This is a dry mixture, but it's very good because we are going to prep our acorn squash, and it does cook off a little bit of liquid to kind of hold everything together. So I have 1 acorn squash that I've cleaned the seeds out, and it was really easy. I popped it in the microwave for about a minute, and then my knife just slid right through, and I used a spoon to pull out the seeds. Then we're going to just salt and pepper each half of the squash. And one of these guys feeds a lot of people, so just trust me on this. You can do more, but 2 is a gracious plenty. 2 halves or 1 acorn squash. So we're going to take about a tablespoon of olive oil and just drizzle that all around the sides. Now we're going to take this is a fun, messy job, and stuff each half with about half of that stuffing mixture. Can't talk today. And it's going to look like a lot, but you're going to have to really pack it in. And if it sits up just a little bit, that's fine. I'm going to show you a trick in just a minute on how to get it good and in there. It doesn't matter. We're going to turn them over, so this will kind of help keep them from burning in a way. So just pack those down with the heel of your hand, and then you can pick up that excess that spilled over and mix it in that oil that also spilled over and create a little bed to pop those things upside down. And I give them 1 more good push for good measure to get them in there. We'll place these in our 400-degree oven for about 45 to 60 minutes until they're nice and brown and soft. Okay, so about 35 to 40 minutes in our cook time, I did notice that the stuffing was starting to get brown pretty quickly. So I took probably about a quarter of a cup of water and just poured it in the pan. That does a couple of things. It helps speed up the cooking process by steaming the squash, and it loosens that stuffing from the bottom so that it doesn't burn. Now we've taken it out, I've turned it over with a spatula, and then what I've done is I've left one whole and I've cut one in half. And just look at that. That stuffing in the middle is just gorgeous. They're still a little warm, so I'm gonna cut me off a bite. Make sure I get some of that stuffing in there. And you know what the great thing about acorn squash? It and buttercup can actually, you can eat the skin. It's good for you. That's where a lot of the nutrients are. And after you cook it like this, it's just as tender as the rest of the squash. So let's give it a taste. That cheese and bacon and breadcrumbs. That is the perfect complement to the sweet of the squash, because acorn squash is naturally very sweet. Y'all, this is fancy and pretty, and one acorn squash can feed up to 4 people. You can slice this into slices and serve it as a side, and it's just pretty and festive. And this time of year, it is really all about the sides, isn't it? But that stuffing, it just doesn't get any better than that. All those seasonings we added in really go a long way to complementing that squash. This recipe, like all of our others, can be found over at thebutteredhome.com. We hope that you'll try it and love it as much as we do. Make sure that you're following us on all of our social channels. We have a really good time and we want you present with us no matter where we are. And as always, if you want all of our videos in one convenient place, head over to YouTube, search for The Buttered Home, and when you find us, hit that subscribe button and ding the bell so that you can be notified when we drop new videos like this one. This fills my cup. The warmth of the squash and that savory seasoning with the cheese, it's gonna make a really good supper for me tonight. We hope that you'll try this recipe and love it as much as we do. And as always, from the buttered home to your home, sure love y'all. Bye.